Hello, hello. Welcome back to Tarot Playdate number 70. Oh, wait. We have to commemorate this. Right there. 70. After today, we only have 8 cards left. I mean, we're doing the countdown every week, right? How is everyone doing? It is nice to see some folks here and waiting already. Let me give some hellos. Does anybody even remember the last card that we had since we had a break for US and Canadian Mother's Day? By the way, happy belated Mom's Day to anyone who was celebrating or who was celebrating a mom or whatnot. I had a very nice, relaxing day after everyone voted to take a break. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. So our last card that we had was the Knight of Wands. Did you have this energy show up for you in the last 2 weeks? Feel free to share with us as I say hello to those who have snuck into the room. Looks like we're off to a little bit of a quiet start, but let me see who we've got here. So we have Gianna Gracia Tarot. So is that a rename from Gracia T, by the way? I mean, it looks kind of familiar to me. But either way, hello and welcome. And then we have Spirit Healing Tarot. Hello. Look at all these red hearts we have in the chat. It's all like lovey today. Although I think about 80% of them are L, but that's okay. I will take all the red hearts. Good morning or good evening. Hi, L. My top mod. And then we have Shanti Diva is here. And then Jennifer Ball, who's everybody looks forward to seeing how you will cleverly ask people to hit that thumbs up button. But nice to see you, my friend. Are you sitting on the porch while you're watching by any chance? Let's see. We have Elizabeth here listening under the weather again. Oh, I hope you feel better, Elizabeth. Don't worry. Again, I'm caffeinated. I seem to always know when I need to caffeinate myself, and I won't need you to remind me as much. So we're in sync. It's good. And then we have here Pals Tarot 10. Love to all. Sunday sun. It's sunny here too. Guess what I'm doing right after Playdate today? I'm getting my butt outside somewhere. Anna Louisa Herring. Hello. Nice to see you. White Tree Tarot. Hi. Oh, the chat jumped all the way to the bottom. Oak Mama. Hi, Melanie. Nice to see you. D. Lady. Hello. And Jackie Jacaranda. Nice to see you. We have Donna Riedler here. And let's see who else. Margaret, hi. And Shane, good morning, Shane. How are you feeling, Shane? Are you feeling all right? Sea Cat's here, hi. And then we have, the big 70L. Longman Tarot, hi, Richard. And then Tarot Knit, Reed Rabbit. I did not stumble on that this time. Hello, welcome back. And then we have Sean Lorth. Hi, Sean. We need to go for a walk soon. All right, and then we have Kim Moon Whisper just for a few minutes. Well, you have a good day because I know you're off to do fun things with your friends, so you do that. Aquarius Owl, hi Debbie, nice to see you. Tyken Light Moon is here. Oh, you guys are all filing in. I started off and there were like 18 people in the chat. Now there's like 30 something. Way to help me get caught up here. Let's see. Did I say hi to Antoinette, Intuitive Tarot? If not, hello. We have, okay, I was right about Gracia, so that's good. So now do I call you Gianna instead of Gracia? Oh, I have to retrain my brain. And then we have Lori Tries Life. Hello. And Diane Wood Thrush Cottage. T-Cat's here. And, too chilly for the porch. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, it's San Diego. It won't last long. Don't you worry. That was for Jenna. And then Pamela Ramsey. Hello. Neem Essence 818. Hello. And no jumpy. Let's see. I think I mostly caught, maybe I caught everybody. Maybe it's fine to jump. All right. Okay, my friends. So we are on Tarot Playdate number 70. And we are going to have to bring some questions that we can answer with one of the 9 cards left this week. So did y'all come ready? Did y'all come prepared? Did you miss having Playdate predict what your week was going to be like? If so, please do put a question for me in the chat, in all caps preferably, so I see it, so that, because I'm about to make the jump over to the StreamYard chat, so that way I can be sure to get the questions in. So I don't know if I have any maybe lurkers or anyone listening in or watching the replay who is new, but I have randomly selected 5 tarot decks tarot decks from my collection that are Rider-Waite-Smith based so that we can look at alternative cards to the card we pulled this week and use those to answer 5 questions that y'all will bring for me this week. And look at that. I've got 2 already out of the gate. Thank you very much. Oh, hey, Chris. Nice to see you. Okay, so from Elle, we have, what do I need to embrace to be able to step more into my authentic self? That makes absolutely 1000% complete sense. And thank you for the question, because I'd love to get an answer to that as well. So thank you very much. Let's see, what I'm going to say we need to embrace to be able to step more, I like to make it for the collective, into our authentic selves, because we can always use we're always working towards that, right? Does anybody actually ever think that they're 1000% authentically out there in the universe? If you are, please teach me your ways. I feel like there's so much fear wrapped up in that sometimes. Thank you, Elle. And then let's see from Lori, how do we learn to love ourselves? Ooh, and I'm going to say more just in case somebody already feels like a really self-loving, but there again, just like with the authenticity thing, right? There's always room for more growth. Thank you, Lori. Lori tries life. How do we learn to love ourselves? I'll put the more in brackets since I'm the one that's getting all taken liberties with people's questions, as I do. Okay, so there's 2. Smelly Ellie. Weren't we just talking about that being a nickname in school, Elle? Okay, let's see. Scrolling. Okay, I saw Chrissy, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That was Chris Elemental Cartomancy there for a while. Oh, Pal's Tarot Tent, didn't put it in caps, but I spotted it. Eagle eyes this morning. We'll go ahead and Pal's Tarot Tent. Sometimes it's good to know what we should avoid. I love it when we get a mix of questions that we use the same card to answer, and somehow it always works, which just shows you the versatility in every single tarot card. And then from Oak Mama, oh, you guys were awesome. How can we connect with the collective unconscious? Okay, so I paused on that. It's so funny because that's one of the things I'm actually talking about in my Tarothon segment, but not really. I just kind of dabble in that a little bit. But so for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, does everybody know? Wait, is that only 4 questions? Oh, no. Is that only 4 questions? Did I miss one? Did I forget to type it? Oh, we're doing good this morning. No, I've got 3. Okay, 4 more. All right, so does everybody know what Tarothon is? I mean, I'm just asking. If you don't, let me know, and I will give you the rundown because it is coming up in 2 weeks. So we'll have a play date next week, but we won't have a play date the week following because we will be in the midst of the 24-hour Tarothon that kicks off here on my channel this year as a special fill-in for Simon at 2 a.m. my time, Pacific time, 10 a.m. British time. What is that? 5 a.m. East Coast time. And why can't I spell unconscious even though it's right on the screen in front of me? Trying to talk and type is a challenge. All right. And then I saw one come in from CCAT. Ooh, how can we empower ourselves to make decisions? Do we want to add the word good in there to make good decisions? Let's see. From CCAT. That is another great. You guys have a good range of questions this week. Yeah, I say that every week, but it's true every week. So I'm going to add to make, just for fun, I'm going to put a little gen bracket in there. Good decisions. Okay, I think I have 5 questions. Thank you all so much. And let's see. 1000%. Jen, I'm a friend. What I do, Chris? What I say? Oh no. I don't know. Strength reverse. Hey, Amy, nice of you to pop in for a bit. Patrice, hello. Can't stay long. Well, that's because you're busy celebrating your birthday for days and days. Patrice's birthday is on Tuesday, so give her a little birthday shout out because next week it'll be over. Let's see here. And then somebody said, nope, I did not, but I don't know what that was. Did Becca sneak in here? There she is. Hi, Becca. And then Neem says, I think most of us are restricted from being completely authentic. More often than not, wearing a mask and fitting in is easier. Being authentic takes a conscious effort. You are not kidding. It's hard work, isn't it? Lori says, Jung's collective unconscious. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see here. Tarathon info. Oh, thank you, Elle, for that link. And Patrice, no, thank you for being such a sweet friend. And I really hope you are having a wonderful celebratory weekend and time. All right, nearly Gemini season, says Antoinette. Whoop, whoop. Okay, let's get to shuffling. So I'm going to focus on the questions here that we have this week. So from Elle, we have, what do we need to embrace to be able to step more into our authentic selves? Love that question. From Lori Tries Life, how do we learn to love ourselves more? I did something funny with that. I put the more in brackets. That's a Jen add-on. Then from Pal's Tarot Tent, what should we avoid? From Oak Mama, how can we connect with the collective unconscious? And from CCAT, how can we empower ourselves to make, in Jen brackets, good decisions? Nobody wants to make bad decisions, right? Is that fair? Maybe that's redundant. Okay, here we go. Deep breath. Ooh, there's one card that really wants to come out. All right. It's one of our last couple of majors. Have you been waiting on this guy? What do you think? Instant thoughts, reactions, emotions related to this card. Let me know what you think. Let me put that over there. The Hierophant. Let's see what you guys think here. Jackie said mathematics, but I don't know why. Let me scooch over so that's not in my logo. There we go. Oak Mama gasp. Elle said I had a feeling. You did have a feeling about that one, didn't you? Nice, says Oak Mama. Oh, Emily. Hello, Emily. So interesting. This is going to give us a bit to dive into. I think this will keep us busy. Oh, Lord. Tarot. Yikes, Pal's Tarot Tent. So, Pal, does that mean you need to avoid the Hierophant to answer your question? Goodness. All right, let's bring in some of the meanings and ideas around this card that come up for you immediately when you see it. Context aside, right? So we have Oak Mama saying connection of earthly and divine planes. Oh, Antoinette, there's a song for this one by Hoosier, Take Me to Church. Take me to church. That's all I know. Shane says, one of my birth cards and never really been a fan. Well, for as much as you're able to listen to this, maybe we'll fix it. Maybe we'll fix tarot birth card for you today, Shane. TCAT. Okay. Oopsie. Let's not put TCAT on timeout. Okay. Didn't expect this one. Sabrina Brunette. Hi, Sabrina. Says it's been showing up a lot. Taurus card. House 2. Body, values, land, and beliefs. That's interesting about the concepts of body and land. I've never really associated those with this card. Jenna says, get rid of the dogma, right? Break free from those traditional boundaries sometimes. Let's see here. Patrice's birth card. How appropriate. Need to find a positive twist for myself with this card. You and Shane both, apparently, Patrice. Oh, math, the Shane and Chris argument over math or math. Oh, mathematics. Oh, so because you add I get it. The S to mathematics. Anna Luisa, hello. Oh, I think I said hello to you earlier, but the teacher. Yes. Gianna Gracia says, no great feelings for this Hierophant from me. Can't wait for other decks with a different interpretation. You ask, I will provide. You know I will. Morals. Oh, I like that. And ethics too, right? Does ethics come up for anybody in this card? I haven't really thought about that, but it kind of makes sense. That's a little extreme, pal. It's a little extreme. We're not going to do any of that today. Donna also said teacher. Sabrina says, learning, teaching the rules that we are called to follow to belong, either to a religion, culture, job, etc. Right? Ooh, Antoinette says, archaic systems. I think you spelled it just fine. Looks right to me. Emily says spiritual, legal, and academic institutions, right? And that word institution comes to mind a lot with this card, doesn't it? Neem says the Hierophant to me, you know the right thing to do, even if it doesn't please or benefit you to do it. Do the right thing. Don't start debating or doubting, right? Yourself. Ooh, I like that. Emily says the powers that be. Jackie says wisdom. Tradition and convention, right? And so that can be positive or negative. Like tradition can be really comforting. Having those things that we know we can rely on can be comforting. But then where we get into the shadow side is it restricting? Are these, and who are these rules and restrictions serving? Are the boundaries there to serve your greater good? Or are they there to serve the greater good of folks who are maybe in power, right? These are a lot of things that come up for me when I see this card. Antoinette says historic behavior. Anne Fort, hi Anne, says read an interesting summing up of this card somewhere. Don't reinvent the wheel. Had me thinking. Okay, so maybe those traditions and those roadmaps have been there for a reason, and they've worked for a really long time. So then we have to think, when is it appropriate to challenge the status quo? Sometimes that status quo serves us, and like I said earlier, is comforting or provides a groundwork that allows us to be successful, but does it limit us in some kind of way? Lori says higher education, question mark. D says tribal consciousness. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I get what you're saying there. Richard says doing things because it has always been done this way. Question what you know. Nothing makes me crazier. So I implement software systems for a living, right? And I will sometimes go into these organizations that have been, well, I haven't, now I'm in kind of a new area, a new emerging industry, but I implement software systems for people who have sometimes been in business using an old system for 20 years. And we go in and we do discovery and we find out how and why they're doing the things that they're doing. And it always amazes me when somebody says, literally the answer to the question is, okay, so why do you do that? Well, that's the way it's always been done. They don't even know the why. Like, to do things the way they've always been done, at least understand the why. But if you don't know the why and you're just repeating the steps, but you don't understand, then that's where I think sometimes we start to miss the truer meaning, or where we can get the greatest value out of whatever it is that we're doing. Anyway, sorry, little work tidbits for you there. Then we have hierarchy, says Antoinette. And Neem says, in shadow, to me, blind faith. You're relying more on what has been instilled versus what you have come to know on your own, right? Are you just believing things because people told you to believe in them? Or did you come to your own conclusions after gaining and doing all of the information gathering, questioning, going through the scientific steps to prove a theory, right? Aquarius L, Debbie says, conforming. Emily, spiritual leaders and teachers, the authenticity and motives of these figures may be questioned in some cases, right? Oh, I like this. Anna, this is another way to look at this card, being forgiven and or forgiving yourself. White Tree Tarot. Hierophant comes from Greek and means displayer, explainer of holy things. I like the idea of the Hierophant being an interpreter between us and higher mind. That is a very cool concept, like bridging that gap for and translating into a language that we can understand and relate to. See, that's cool. Donna says, I ran into that in my former career as well. Yeah, it can get a little bit tricky. And that's when you often find resistance to change. Whereas those people who understand what and why they're doing it often then are wanting to find the most efficient way, the better way, the improved way. Kristen says, we can see spiritual gatekeeping in this card. Yes, 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 yes. TCAT says, to me, this represents doing things by the book and learning the rules before you can apply them freely. Hierophant often comes up when someone has to accept the role of a student. I think that's true. A lot of times when Elle wants to see a melanated. You know what? That's a great idea. Sometimes when I see this card, believe it or not, well, maybe you believe it. I have gotten this card quite a few times on Sunday in my daily draws before we have play date. And I always am like, okay, in what position am I in? Right? I'm not necessarily up here teaching anything. I'm in front of you all, right? But I feel like oftentimes I'm still the student in that role. So it's kind of interesting, but it comes up for me on a lot of Playdate Sundays. Look at this beautiful melanated. Now, this one's really interesting. Usually we see, let me pull this comment down for a minute. Usually we see these two be very, very similar, but we have, that's the Emperor. Is anybody yelling at me that I pulled the Emperor out? I was getting all confused because I didn't see the people at the front. Sorry, you guys probably all knew. Oh, that is bright. There we go. That guy's going to have to be on that side. That background is really white, so my lighting is making it show up funny. I was like, there's no people in the front. Hold on. We're going to get some coffee. We're going to regroup. I'm going to start talking about the wrong card. Okay, Elle, I blame you for making me get out the melanated. Everything was fine until then. All right, let's see what you got here. D says, how did I acquire my beliefs, right? So questioning that. I'm trying to get that in. Okay, that light's not so bad. Neem says, the CFO at my company said, never respond to a why question with this is the way it's always been done. He hates that shit more than anything. That's a non-answer answer, right? And it also allows people to kind of, that's a way to sort of shirk responsibility, right? So if we're taking responsibility and accountability for the things that we do, rather than just being told what we're told, right? Now, sometimes we have to do what we're told, but there's nothing that says we can't understand why we're doing that so that we can do that even better. Let's see. Diane says, I'm working on implementing new software that replaces, wait, come back, a legacy system in here because it's always been that way a lot too, right? So you feel me. You know what I'm talking about. Sabrina says, the Marielle second edition shows pretty clearly the dark as the babies are not being nursed equally. Oh, first edition. I don't know why I read second edition. It says very clearly there, first edition, showing that thing of hierarchy. I don't know how to pronounce that. And being fed by someone something depending on what's needed. Okay, that's interesting. That's always been one of the cards that I didn't like, but it helps to understand a little bit more about what that means. So thank you for that. Antoinette says, finding your spiritual teachings and path. Shanti says, the Hierophant is a bridge. Yes. Donna says, I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Paul. Donna says, people are sometimes scared to change anything in case it goes wrong and they get blamed. Yeah, see, Jackie saw I had the wrong card. Yeah, I figured that out, Jackie. Thanks. You were on it. That is true. Let's see. We're still having the mathematics debate. Scrolling down. Caffeine jet. Yep, Lori, working on that. Okay. Elle says the figures, all three represent the Hierophants, right? So all three of them are in a different role, but all are considered Hierophants. Ooh, expand, Elle. Let's see here. Pamela says, as an ECE educator, it was important that I embodied stability and security to my wee ones. They, in turn, kept my perspective from becoming rigid. See, that's good. All right, let's take a nice close-up look and let's dive into the different symbols that we see in the card. And let me know if you spot anything that you haven't before. All right, so here's a close-up look of our original here. Let's see if we can get some focus going. There we go. All right, so we have our pillars, our throne, a ginormous crown. The hand symbol, I know, or the hand gesture there, as I know often something that means something. Lots of religious symbolism here with the crosses. We have the crossed keys at the bottom. And then we have, oh, it's interesting here in one of the men there, I'm assuming those are men because of the balding backs of their heads, but we have the lilies on one side and the roses on the other. I don't know that I've ever noticed that before. All right, let's take a close-up look at the melanated. This one is a little bit more challenging with the white background, but we'll see what we can do here. There we go. Also, same hand gesture, very serious facial expression, huge crown. There we go. Oh, they got full heads of hair there. We still have our cross keys. The title kind of covers that up, which is sort of sort of unfortunate, but we still see them there. So what do you all think? Let me scroll back up and get caught up with the comments here. So Elle, coming in for Simon today to give us some of the symbol meanings from the Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite-Smith, if you haven't seen this book. I know we get a lot of glare when I try to show that title. There we go, for anybody new. So thanks for doing that, Elle. I appreciate it. So the gray columns mark out a large building, such as an academy, community of believers. Danger equals, wait, where's the danger? Oh, the gray columns. Is this all related to the gray columns? So danger, petrification, opportunity, sustainability. Oh, I see, kind of like positive and negative aspects. The gray color equals indifference, unconscious, equanimity. And then neutrality and tolerance. Wow. Okay. That was a good one. Okuma says, I see that there is no teacher without students. That's a good point. Chris says that Marielle is great at depicting how the Hierophant can often pass down not just knowledge, but dogma, prejudice, corruption. We see it as the corrupt oddness that is the babies in that first edition. Okay, gotcha. Okuma says the pillars and throne are both stone. So kind of bringing in those aspects that Elle was talking about. But do you have any other meanings you might associate with those as well? Let's see. Elle says the tonsure, shaving hair from upper part of head. Oh, here signifies spiritual openness towards God. You mean that's not an accident? That's not nature? That's like a choice? I did not know that. Huh. Okay. Okama says one student is red robe and the other is lily. Yeah, the red roses versus the lilies, which I had not ever noticed that before. Antoinette says being your own gatekeeper with the ability to free your mind. Diane says the blue neckwear stands out. Yeah, I wonder if there's any particular meaning to that. And it really stands out in this version of the card as well. Okuma says the hand gesture is the same blessing as in the Ten of Swords. It is. That's in the Ten of... Okay, we have to look at that now. Let's see. There's the Queen. Knight. Okay, that's really dark, but... we can't see it in that version of the card. And my original is far, far away. Oh, but that's interesting. I feel like I remember seeing that now that you mention it. Let's see here. Elle says the blessing. So as above, so below. One part is visible, as in heaven, so on the earth. Not only priests have the power to sanctify, but any worthwhile act is a blessing. Any worthwhile act is a blessing. Oh, I like that. Elle says the Trinity. Visible several times in the image. Okay, what's the Trinity? Am I this dumb? Like, what's the Trinity? Is that, see, the cult of the great goddess, Virgin Mother Queen, 3 worlds, heaven, earth, underworld, 3 conscious levels, superego, ego, and id. So do we just mean like the number 3, like in the staff? I'm going to sound like an idiot, but scroll, focus. Come on. There we go. So where else do we see? Help me out, folks. D says only male acolytes. Oh, interesting, right? Oh, let's see here. Lori says lilies and roses equal purity. The yellow Y on their mantles. Oh, like here, like what they're wearing? Are those more than suspenders? Emily says, I think maybe a problem I have with this card in the deck is that notion that we can't get to spirit, God, the divine, etc. without a mediator. This can be more relevant with dogmatic religions, I feel, right? Where you have like a priest or a rabbi or just a pastor, right? I can see what you mean there. Antoinette says, this makes sense too. So blue to me is the throat chakra, speak the truth. That makes a lot of sense with where that's at. Elle says the V of the card and 5 fingers of the hand, which blesses, indicate the quintessence, the essentials, literally the 5th essence. Strengths and weaknesses are a gift. What counts is what you make of them. Oh, the crosses on the white robe. That's the Trinity? Okay, focus is apparently not a thing today. Here we go. Yeah, there are 3 of those. Okay. Yeah, and the staff. Okay, I was on the right track. That's good to know, Al. Thank you. Let's see. OD says the triple crown of the Pope. Oh, yeah, there's 3 layers there too, isn't there? Oh, yeah, okay. Yep, 3 layers to the crown. All right, I'm seeing the Trinity thing start to develop here. Anne says from the threefold bishops, staffer, shepherds, crook, the 3 crosses, one above the other, are reserved for the Pope as spiritual leader. So the card tells us not to be sheep, but shepherds from the book. Okay, all right, that's cool. Yeah, okay, so the 3s are all over this card, triple cross, triple crown, etc. You guys got me covered there. Thank you. I wanted to make sure it wasn't like as literal as that. I was a little worried I was being too literal with it. Elle says threefold bishop staff, a shepherd's crook. Bishop staff has 2 crosses, 3 crosses, one above other, are reserved for the spiritual leader. Don't be the sheep, be the shepherd. Oh, okay, that's what was just being said up above. Oh yeah, by Anne. Okay, let me keep scrolling here. So Elle says the crown, the papal crown, God's representative. The term Pontifex Maximus means great bridge builder. Threefold crown stands for this bridge to the threefold deity. Interesting. Jen, I just saw for shaving your head like Friar Tuck. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, the keys. I've been waiting for the keys. Let's go to where we can actually see the keys here at the bottom. Jesus used the key to authorize Peter. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, and somebody said this earlier too, shaving the hair from the upper part of the head signifies, I have hair in my mouth, a spiritual openness towards God, again from the book. And opening the crown chakra there, Anna. I like that. We all have the book. Love the book. Yes, we do. All right. Any other thoughts on this before we start diving into our alternative cards and answering some questions? I think we're kind of moving right along here. Any other thoughts while I take a final sip of my very cold coffee? Are you ready to see some other versions and see what you think? I have kind of an interesting mix, I think. I say that every week. All right, chat died. So we are going to pull out our first alternative deck today. Shall we talk about hair? Okma says, I'm thinking Samson and Rastafarian locks. Yes. Yeah, we can't see the actual Hierophant's hair, though, can we? His face mask is at his chin. Yeah, how many people, I've seen memes and stuff going around about that. So how many people see that now as somebody who wears their face mask under their chin? All right, first alternative deck, the Light Seers Tarot. Well, let's not leave that up on there for too long. Dee says, I love the fancy shoes. Oh yeah, there's fancy, I keep interrupting myself. Well, technically the chat does, but we have the crosses on the shoes. There we go. Look at those. Or maybe they're just socks. Fancy socks. All right, for reals this time. The Light Seers Tarot. I have the independent and mass market versions of this deck. I like to use the mass market for Playdate simply because the deck is still in order, as this is primarily a backup copy for me. It's interesting because I recently was watching a video that somebody did about this deck and some of the cards they liked and some of the cards they don't like. And the Hierophant was one that they actually said they do not like. So I'll be interested to see what you guys think. So this gives us a very different look into the Hierophant, a very different kind of spiritual concept happening. So what do you think when you see this card? Ooh, that's pretty. I mean, that person is very happy. Oh, look, we have that same symbol on the shirt that we have in our original version of the Hierophant. Oh, we got some light shining there. What do you think? Neem, right away. I do not like the Hierophant in this deck. So why, how come? I would love to know if you're willing to share. Let's see here. Sabrina had said white shoes stand for purity on the path of faith. Okay, that makes total sense. What is the Hierophant called in the indie version? Is it Keeper of Joy? Oh, you're right. It did get renamed. I happen to have the original book right here. It is called, let me hold this up so you guys can tell me your thoughts, but yeah. Oh, Keeper of the Sacred is what it's called. I didn't even realize that she didn't keep the different titles in the mass market version, or maybe Hay House didn't want her to keep the original titles in the Hay House version. Let's see. Most people dislike the Hierophant more than the Devil or Tower. Neem says, I do like the deck though. Okama says that Jacob's ladder connecting the planes. Poverty? Question mark. Chris says, I like him. He looks fun. Spirit Healing Tarot. I like it. Colors, smiles, stares, right? Gianna Gracia likes it as well. So for those who don't, I was trying to remember what the person said. And I honestly, I just watched this video like yesterday or the day before on kind of why they didn't like this particular version of the card. I just like, to me, I guess when I look at this card, I see a spiritual enlightenment that's a really personal journey. So I like that aspect of the card, right? It's kind of like, okay, it doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be structured. It's allowed to be what it is for me, as long as it brings me joy, is I guess how I look at this card without reading the book. Donna says he is experiencing bliss. Pamela says, I love this version, frees me to walk my path and meeting mentors along the way. Oh, I love that. Chris says, I love the staircase, connection between physical and spiritual world, our connection to deity. So rather than the bridge being that Pope figure, right? The bridge is the stairway. Laurie says, I love Keeper of Joy. Yeah, except for the, so now I guess it has a new name for you, right? Neem says, it's like, ha ha ha, you can't get on the stairway to heaven. That's what I see when I see this card. A gatekeeper, but you are down here with me too, bro. Oh, that's interesting that you see it as a gatekeeper. Okay, all right. I can see why that might not be so awesome. Sabrina says, it's more about magic and sacred geometry, freedom of creating our own version of what's correct or to be followed. There's no dogma or institution shown in this card. Yeah, that's why I like it. And Neem says, yes, I argue with this card sometimes. You're like, I'm going up those stairs, whether you want me to or not. Something like that, Neem. Oh, hello, Gypsy in the Forest. Oh, I'm glad you agree with me. Whatever I said, Emily says, the Sephirothic path on the Tree of Life corresponds to Shakma wisdom, I can't pronounce these words, Chesed, mercy. It's on the top right of the Tree of Life, so very close to Kether, or the top. Chris asked, does anybody know what the sacred geometry is at the top? So there we have, again, that gorgeous, looks like a mandala, right? Anne says, he looks like he's found fulfillment. Come on, focus. We're back. And believe that gives him spiritual joy. Yes. Okama says he looks more like a guide. Hi, Regina Tarot. Listen to that big magic, says Elle. He would be a very approachable spiritual mentor or teacher, not on a pedestal. So yeah, you could think about, and you kind of said something like this earlier too, Mom. It's like, you're down here, or no, it was Nima who said that. You're down here with me too, bro, right? So we're on the same level with this opportunity to reach maybe enlightenment. We could look at it that way. Donna says, this card works for you because, or for me, reading is Donna. I would like him to teach me how to be that happy too. Something tells me that being taught that can be challenging, right? That's who I'm talking about, Emily. Did anyone see Saturnarium in the video about this deck? They spoke about this image looking kind of arrogant and phony. Yeah, I couldn't remember what she said specifically about this card. I just knew she didn't like it. Hey, Robin, listening to Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. Well, how appropriate. Okma says, could you post a link in the group? Oh, to the video. Elle says, we try to kind of limit the link posts in there, Melanie, but we are talking about it, so I'd be all right with that. Elle, it says, it looks like its own iteration of the seed of life. The seed of life. What do you mean? Oh, Emma says, I don't think he would stop you. Yeah, I feel like he's just like, yeah, go on by. Emily says, I would like it for the same reasons too, as in it doesn't look like a specific religious leader. But I do think Saturnarium had a point because I got that vibe a bit too. So sometimes we have to be careful, right? So those of us who claim that we're following this different, authentic path, right? There sometimes can be some implication that people who are following a more dogmatic path are less enlightened, right? So we have to be careful about that gatekeeping going both ways, right? And so we have to not get arrogant and in either space, I would think. Elle says, which would make sense with the 5, the seed of life. I still don't know what the seed of life is. Let's see here. Pamela says, I see him as a welcome. Here's your path. Like, here you go. Right on up the stairs. Right? Oh, the seed of life is the geometric symbol that's in the Fool. Oh, okay. All right. Let me see if there's anything from the book that we can glean before we answer our question here. So there's kind of like some big words here. You can't see that in this lighting, but what it says is, I am my own guru, and the guidance I need is rooted in my faith, my belief, and my unique essence. So kind of being your own Hierophant, so to speak, which I think is kind of interesting. I'm not going to try and read the tiny writing because my lighting here is a little dim, so it doesn't get too bright for you all. I think he is welcoming us to the spiritual path, like the greeter at Walmart, who sometimes is paying attention and sometimes isn't, T-Cat says, the staircase makes me think of gaining experience in life. We are all on our personal staircase, and every lesson takes us further. For sure. Anna says, my favorite Hierophant has got to be the Santa Muerte one. I do not have that deck, but my adopted sister does have that deck and raves about it quite a bit. I might need to ask her to show me that particular card. Or you can post it in the Tarot Playdate Facebook group if you're a member, so we can all see it there. All right, so let's get our first question going. And this one is from Elle, which is, what do we need to embrace to be able to step more into our authentic selves? So what do we need to embrace to be able to step more into our authentic selves? Do you think the tarot's doing that funny literal thing again here for you, Elle? What do you all think? Let's see. Robin said ascendance is what you see in this card. What a stunning pun. It's not even punny. It's just like literal. It's just like there's stairs. So climb the damn stairs, Elle, is I think what it's saying, which sometimes takes a little bit of effort, right? So there's a lot of stairs there. We're going to get tired. We're going to want to quit. It's difficult, right? So gaining and getting to our most authentic selves is not an easy path. It's a challenging path. It can be very scary to really put ourselves out there and put ourselves in this vulnerable position, right? Because the higher we get, I feel like in a way, the more visible and vulnerable we are. So it's kind of one step at a time, right? So take it and progress, but don't feel like you need to be running up those stairs or you're going to get winded and you're never going to make it all the way to the top. So there's some of my advice, but let's see what you guys think. Emily says, yes, a funny literal thing. It cracks me up. I will literally pull a card sometimes and just burst out laughing because it's so literal. Spirit Healing Tarot says, oh, through meditation. So look at his relaxed pose there and maybe embrace some of that, which we do every day. Chris says, embrace the path in front of you, even if you can't see where it's going. Yeah, that's true, right? We don't really know what's behind that bright light at the top. It may be what we expect. More likely it isn't. Neem says, one step at a time and ignore those who just sit still and laugh. Yeah, and ignore the gatekeepers. So for anybody who sees this guy as a gatekeeper, ignore them. They don't get a say in your own spiritual journey. Let's just be real about that. Pamela says, stay on your journey. Emily says, yes, I love that we embrace and accept that we're not going to always feel okay. We're not going to always be right. We need to pace ourselves on this journey. Yes. Robin says, embrace the path in front of you, even if it's behind you. So are you referring to the fact that his back is turned to the stairway, Robin? Elle says, succumb to who you are. Now, succumb is interesting, right? But I can see what you're saying there. It's kind of like a surrendering to who you are, right? Stop trying to stop it from happening. You are who you are. It's in the very fiber of your being. You got to stop denying or gatekeeping yourself. Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah, slam the door on gatekeeping. You tell him, Jenna. All right, let me know if you have any other thoughts on that card, but I'll go ahead and get to pulling out the next one. I mean, Elle, you didn't need us. You totally answered your own question, but that was a good answer. All right, next one I have, we're gonna come back to basics, and I was really hesitant. Every time I pull this one for Playdate, I think, ooh, should I do it? But in this case, since it's a major, I think it's totally okay because it can be a bit pippish, and it's the gorgeous Pagan Otherworlds by Usi. Let's take a look. Ooh, we got a very interesting and fun Hierophant here. I'm gonna get these back in me. And I have the book for this, but it's, I guess it's just down there, but I don't know that we need it. Okay, with these tech boxes, one can never be too careful. So backs of the cards, you guys have probably all seen this deck. Here is our Hierophant from the Pagan Otherworld. So there we have the Trinity thing happening. I learned stuff today. Can you see? We also have a more natural looking crown, but still have it. A different kind of hand gesture here happening with the hand that's being held up. Also, it's the opposite one, right? Is it? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry, I'm just holding that to the regular one. So obviously with our Pagan Otherworlds vibe here, this is a little bit less structured, although we still see with like the standing stones that it looks like we have in the background. Did you notice those? So we still have that idea of structure in a more natural environment. So what do you think about this one? Emily said the answer was the question to Elle's. Yeah, totally, wasn't it? And let's see. Gypsy in the Forest said, be mindful, self-care, Hierophant. Yes, self-care is always good. Whoopsie. Ogama, hay fork. Oh, like to pitch hay with? Kind of is, isn't it? Pamela says, I've always been my own gatekeeper. I see the steps, I see the steps, I step, then I get distracted. Then the cycle begins again, and here I am again. And sometimes we go up a few steps and down a step, up a few steps and down a step. Okama says he looks like a traveling priest. Spirit Healing Tarot. Heart. That's a half a heart because I don't have both hands free. Jackie notices no white shoes or socks. Yeah, I think we have traveling boots on, right? So now we have some movement. We have some adventure. We have something else happening in this card other than, so right away, so then is our Hierophant here traveling to others rather than kind of requiring people to travel to them. Maybe that's something that's different in this card. Anna said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Robin says, make hay while the sun shines. He looked like he's going to pitch some hay. He totally does. Yes. Elle says, I like that he's forging his own path with the rake thing, the hay pitcher. I don't know what we call that, rather than following old pathways, right? Wellington's boots. I mean, very practical, right? It looks like this Hierophant's on a journey. So is this Hierophant on a journey for himself or themselves? Or is he traveling, do you think, to bring in information and be a guide to others? When you look at this card, what does it make you think? But I kind of like the idea with this card where he is both the student and the teacher, right? So he's out in the world, which means he's going to learn. But as he goes and as he travels, he can share what he has learned with others. So, really being able to lead by example and experience rather than just being a messenger of messages receiving from some, what, dogmatic force, I guess? Just some thoughts. Let's see what you guys think. Pamela says he's immersed in the world. Donna says he looks hermity. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like maybe that's the vibe that I'm getting there with what I was just saying. Elle says bringing the goods to the peoples, accessibility, walking his walk and talking his talk. Yes, exactly. Teaching from his own experience. That's the kind of the phrase that keeps coming to mind for me here. Chris says a poncho, a chef's hat, and a hay fork. He's given Lady Gaga a run for her money. I mean, his sense of style cannot be beat. Okuma says he looks like he's helping with the harvest, then saying, but don't forget to tithe, right? Oh, Robin says if your path is blocked, use your rake and clear the way, right? Use the tools at your disposal in order to clear your path and continue on your journey. I like that. Lived experience guides him. Yes, yes, yes. Or like a street corner preacher. Yeah. I mean, some people might look at that guy, roll his eyes, oh, there's that guy again on the corner shouting at us. We have no idea. We're not stopping to listen. Maybe he actually has something worthwhile to say. Pamela says, I think he is like the hermit. We just meet him in a different place and time, right? He's still in the light. In a few cards, he'll be in the dark with his lantern. Neem says, Elle, you said the rake thing made me think of Reiki, healing energy, physical and emotional, on a journey to help spread Reiki healing energy. Ooh, I like that. T-Cat says, it is funny how this card is so pagan-like, but then the Lovers card have reference to the Adam and Eve being in a garden. You know, they like to keep you guessing, Usi, don't they? Dee said, my first thought was a school crossing person keeping the kids safe. Like, yeah, you're picturing like the little stop sign, right? That person holds. Elle says, championing lived experience over professionalism and systematic gateways, etc. Right? Gypsy says, a less institutional spiritual leader and more community oriented, seeking out those that can't come to him. Yes, yes, totally. Or dousing the sky, Powell. What are you saying? The lollipop ladies? Oh, I'm so lost. Now I'm lost. So let's answer our second question from Lori Tries Life. Oh, how long am I going to leave that up there? Probably forever. So from Lori, how do we learn to love ourselves? And I put the added brackets more. So how can we learn to love ourselves more? Maybe we need to go on a bit of a journey, right? So maybe we need to explore. We need to be willing to put ourselves out there, get out of our rigid systems and ways of thinking and our comfort zone, right? So here in this version of the card, right, we're definitely in our comfort zone, but here we're exploring, we're branching out, we're trying new things, we're taking ourselves to others so we can interact with others, right? And that gives us the opportunity to, sure, teach others from our lived experience, but also to learn from others. And then if we can do that, then do we gain confidence and self-loving, right? Self-lovingness? Self-love. Why make it complicated when it's not, Jen? So I don't know, but what do you think, Kara? Let's see. Oh, the road cross. Oh, you called the road crossing people lollipop people? That's special. Long hair, skinny-eyed toe. Hello, hello. Anybody else want to take a stab at answering this question? I think I have one sip of coffee left to stall with, and then I guess I have to move on to water. Oh, wait, I might have like 2 more sips in there. Let's see. Pamela says, no, we are not alone in this world. We can listen, come together, and explore together. Right. And there's not just one path, like there's an entire world of paths here. Right. So finding the one that's right for you and heading in the direction that you want to go so that you don't feel like you're being potentially oppressed, gatekept. Gate kept would be the proper past tense of that word. So learning to be willing to be vulnerable to the outside elements too, right? Let's see. Elle says, loving and appreciating our journeys. Let's see. D says, do we need a kind mentor if we haven't had much help in our lives? So sometimes we do have to find that person who we can go to for guidance, right? Like I have one of my very best friends was a boss that I had at actually 2 different companies. She was 21 years my senior. So she kind of became like a surrogate mom to me. I guess surrogate's kind of the wrong word, but like an adopted mom for me. And really showed me the way and shaped who I am as a person just by existing, just by being herself and letting me befriend her and learn from her in that way. And it was a very authentic, natural relationship. It wasn't like, hey, teach me your ways, and I sit down and take notes. But I learned so much just by watching somebody else's lived experience, right? And her being willing to share that with me. Elle says, having gratitude for the body that carries us, the body that allows us to move, taste, and live amongst others. Ooh, I like that. Robin says, don't let others tell you can't wear the cloak you want. Yeah, express yourself, express your individuality in a way that resonates with the life you're living. Chris says, increasing self-awareness by actually getting on the road and doing shit, not sitting on a throne and placing yourself above others. Self-awareness leads to self-love. Oh, so true. So totally true. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, Elle. Yes, big up Pat. She got a Mother's Day message from me. I made her cry. I didn't mean to, but I just really would not be who I am today without a person like that in my life. So maybe she's my Hierophant. Swan Spirit, hello. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're enjoying this. All right. Feel free to keep the self-love answers coming. But we'll get to the next deck here. Neem says, yes, my therapist whips out the rake on me always, helps me clean that shit up and to be okay with a leaf or 2 I may have missed, right? So sometimes we think we've done a really good job and we need somebody else to point out that we missed a spot, right? And yes, learn by example, not by being told what to do, because then you're making your own choices, right? And doing what's right for you. Okay, let's go. All right, let's dive a bit more into nature with a deck that I just got into my collection. It's really cute. The Tarot Reynard. Oh, the lighting. Oh my goodness. There we go. There we go. This is by the creator of the Lily White and Lily Black tarots. She had a Kickstarter. This is Tarot Reynard, which I believe is French for fox. And it is freaking cute. We don't have titles on the cards. We just have numbers for the majors. So we'll take a nice cute look at this here. A cute look. Well, I guess you may not find it cute, but I find it cute. Look at our little, I really love the lovers in this deck. It's so darn cute. Okay, so here, these are the backs, by the way, little foxes running around a star there. But here is our foxy Hierophant in this deck. Sweet. So we have our fox out in nature, what? Taking notes, perhaps observing the world around him or her, recording it for future posterity, perhaps. I have not worked with this deck yet. I've only like flipped through it quickly on my own one time. I'm trying to get the lighting so you can see everything. Oh, Pamela says, I just ordered this deck so much. Elle says, I'm excited to see this card. I've heard so much talk about this deck. Oh, and Neiman said earlier, referring to the answer on the previous card, or even when you miss a spot, it's okay. Everyone has room for improvement, but that doesn't lessen the things you do or have done very well. So true. And Okama said, have compassion for yourself. So answering Lori's question from earlier about finding some self-love. Neem says, I'm gifting this deck away. It's cute, but well, yeah. Okay, fair enough. I haven't gotten a chance to really get to know it yet. What does the fox say? Okay, earworms. Sorry, it's all Elle's fault. Sabrina says, what I think with the Hierophant is that whatever we believe in or follow is the path that will be tested, with the lovers asking us if we are truly engaged by heart with our beliefs. Oh, that's interesting. Pamela says, gifts from the universe. We have our little gifts coming down here, even though you can barely see it in this funky lighting. There we go. Yeah, I can't tell, are those like birds or flowers, butterflies? Something's coming down from nature, that's for sure. Kristen says, oh, hi, Kristen. Makes me think he is studying gravity. Yeah, right? Just like the apple falling on the head. Jackie, it looks so cute. Dee says, is that fox singing his own song, but we can all join in? Oh, I like that. T-Cat says, the little fox looks like he's getting inspiration from the nature around him. Yeah, I love that he has this little notebook and quill and is like out there taking some notes, or maybe having some inspirational thoughts, maybe documenting his own journey. We don't really know. Gypsy says, inspiration from above. Okama sees butterflies. Neem, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Yeah, maybe he's panicking, right? We can't really tell. Feather for your thoughts instead of a penny. 3 degrees of love. Well, hello, hello. The fox who cried wolf. All right. We're getting off into pun land here. Let me see if there's anything in the little book that might be helpful. Thankfully, it's in English. Let's see here. Oh, it is dark, but I'll do my best here. So the fox is the connection between the spiritual and material worlds. With him, you add sacred elements to your life, and you take a closer look at your values and what you need to bring into the world. Be as much the apprentice as the master. Share the knowledge that you hold dear. Okay, so I feel like that's kind of in line what we were picking up from this card, right? It's kind of gathering that information, recording it, and sharing it, right, with the rest of the world. Oh, hey, Jonathan. Neem, now he needs a rake. So we'll just put these 2 Hierophants together and all will be well, right? All right, let's get to question number 3 from Powell's Tarot Tent. Ooh, what should we avoid? So what do you think we should avoid? What do you think this particular Hierophant is telling us to be wary of? Jackie had said he's writing down what he is learning so he can pass on what he learns. So maybe what to avoid. Oh, wait. Oh, Elle says paying attention to its own lived experience. The fox champions his own thoughts and feels his life and experience is just as worthy to be documented as others. Okay, I love that. So how do we feel? What should we avoid? It's almost like it's difficult for me with, like, I feel like this would be so easy with the original RWS version of this card. Perhaps here, maybe it's to avoid getting distracted and forgetting what our purpose is, right? So here he is like, oh, pretty, 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 and completely forgotten maybe that he is journaling and recording and perhaps teaching, right? So being careful not to be distracted from our purpose by beautiful, shiny things, although I still think it's good to appreciate them. I don't want to go to any kind of extremes here. We like it balanced, right? But perhaps it's making sure that we don't get so lost in what's around us that we forget our own contributions, right? And we forget what we're trying to put out into the world. So that's perhaps something to avoid. Jonathan, oops, was right here. What should we avoid? Don't give in to dogma. Always be willing to learn and relearn. Elle said, avoid distracting leaves. What are those things? Avoid following fleeting, intrusive thoughts. Yeah, so you and I think we're kind of on the same page there. Oh, I like this too. Pamela says, avoid not paying attention to what is being given. In other words, pay attention to what is being given. If we avoid that, we could miss something really beautiful or a really valuable lesson. Chris, oh, looks like you're on the same page too here. Avoid getting so caught up with the magic butterflies, the divine, that you forget to see the beauty of the world around you, right? Being so focused on what is out there, what's unseen, what's to come, what we don't know. We don't want to miss our experience. I love that. Oakmont says, if we share our wisdom, we should not force it onto others. I think that's right? Putting it out there versus it inflicting it on others is different, right? Making it available for people to be able to come to of their own free will and desire to learn what you might have to share is definitely different than inflicting that upon others. The word inflict is now stuck in my brain. Elle said, don't live as one big reaction, or don't live life as one big reaction to others. Ooh, very good advice. Sabrina says, we need to pay attention to the environment around us, learn from it, be vigilant and foxy. Yes. Donna says, avoid overanalyzing rather than experiencing what's around you. Yeah, so don't get so caught up taking the notes that you don't actually experience things. I think sometimes in this day and age where we have a camera on our smartphones that we carry around, oftentimes we might find ourselves so busy documenting our experience, we forget to actually experience our experience. Now, sometimes I tend to go the other way and I will forget to take pictures because I'm so busy sort of experiencing if I go on vacation and things. So I really have to force myself to document. So we've got to find that right balance between being able to record that and share it with others, but also making sure we're having that true, authentic experience. Powell said, write it down lest you forget. Yeah, that's a very legit risk for me. TCAT, maybe we should avoid aimless daydreaming. Something that Hierophant brings is structure to our dreams and hopes. Grounding is important. Okay, yep, I totally see that. Neem says, avoid doing the work, trying to document every single thing and be a part of the work. Take in your surroundings. Yes, that's what I was saying. Lori says, aimless dreaming. I think that'll now be my new channel name. Well, there you go. Neem says, exactly, seeing things through the lens instead of enjoying the experience, right? The world's a lot smaller inside of that little camera lens, isn't it? Okay, that's a really cute card. Oh my gosh, there is such a loud dog outside. Can you hear that? Okay, let's move on to alternative deck number 4. Bringing in, because I have a couple of his decks, a bit of Ciro Marchetti's Tarot Grand Lux. I know some people are fans and some people sometimes think the digital artwork is a little much. I think this Hierophant kind of leans toward the traditional a bit. Let's see what you guys think. Put that over there. Okie doke. So here is these are the backs, by the way. Here is our Hierophant in the Tarot Grand Lux. So here, a very serious looking, is that like a weapon? It's almost like he has a scroll and a weapon in his hand, like a mini machete or something. Oh, I wonder what that says. It's in Latin. Auctoritas non veritas facie legem. I don't, now I wanted to say it in French. That's not right. Emperor. I did a filming of the Lux Ex Umbra tarot deck earlier today, and I was trying to say all the French words. Yeah, good luck when you watch that video. What do you guys think of this one? Anne had said with the avoid answer or question, maybe we should avoid getting caught up in all the frippery and stay grounded. Oh, share your excitement with the rest of the world, Elle. I hear sarcasm. Those are Roman fasces. 3 Degrees of Love said, reminds me of that Tums commercial with the man and woman at a restaurant. While she takes forever shaping photos for Instagram, the man has managed to finish eating before she even starts. Yeah, because he was focused on his food, right? Why do I keep doing this, you guys? I did it again. Oops, I did it again. It's like Jeez, how am I not even noticing that I'm doing that? This is what happens. I take a week off play date and I totally forget what I'm doing. I was holding it up there for a long time too. Okay, this one's more fun. This is a fun Hierophant. Okay, here we go. Goodness gracious. What is wrong with me? Let's get some focus here. This one's got so much shiny stuff going on. The camera does not know what to do with it. All right. Oh, there we go. There is a lot of adornment going on here. Look at that. Was that like a smiley sun? Okay. There is clearly a level of self-importance happening in this card that I'm picking up on. What do you think? Oh my gosh. Yeah, screw the Pope again, Powell. You know, I'm going to have to do some work into why the Emperor and the Hierophant are interchangeable in my mind. I did not know this about myself until today. Donna says the Emperor is trying to contact you. Like, seriously. All right, Neem says, translation, it is authority, not truth, which makes the law. Oh, that's interesting in that Emperor card. Okay, that was kind of interesting. Thank you. Yes, Jen is drawn to the Emperor today. Swan Spirit says, I try to keep an open mind, but Chiro Marchetti is not really my bag. Yeah, you're not the only one. You know, it's funny. I was really drawn to Chiro Marchetti in my early days when I was afraid that I did not like the standard RWS imagery. And so like the digital modern style really appealed to me early on, but I've gone a really different way. And I tend to like things oftentimes that are more natural and something. It's interesting how our tastes evolve over time. Yeah, I guess the Emperor has a message for me. Blingy. Yeah, that's a very good way to describe this card. Jonathan said the altar is a real altar in the Vatican, and it was made by melting down the dome of the Pantheon. Oh, that's a fun fact. Oh, yeah, 3 Degrees of Love. Totally followed you there about that being for the previous discussion. We get it. Sometimes we're all playing catch up here, you know? The Emperor is asking for a date, Jen. Oh, Where is he? Knocking on the door. I don't see him. I don't hear him. Anne says, think your oops moment have brought to my attention how similar the Emperor and Hierophant are in many ways, structure, institution, etc. Right? There is something subconsciously going on there. Elle says, they're both sat on their arse giving orders. My shadowy thoughts of the Emperor and Hierophant coming through. It's a new element of Playdate. What is happening subconsciously in Jen's mind as she goes to show the cards? Dee says, that man is afraid of the sun. Look at that huge canopy. Yeah. Yeah. So is he really enlightened or is he hiding from the light? There's some food for thought. Oh, Mama, I will try and give you another close-up. This one does not like to focus very well. There's so much light in this card. No, see, like it won't. You can, oh, wait, there. Do we kind of get the face? It's so, oh, yes, camera. Do that funny thing with the light. So we got a little bit of the expression there. Very serious face. What do you think? Yeah, he's blocking the light. Yeah, blocking the light. Or maybe maybe that's where some of the gatekeeping element comes in, right? keeping us from being able to get to the light. Ogama says that's not the sun behind him, but the divine. Okay, so there again being that bridge, right? All right, just because, time is moving fast. I've still got one more deck. I always think I'm ahead. All right, Ogama, let's answer your question. How can we connect with the collective unconscious? Ooh, by pulling out cards unconsciously. How can we connect with the collective unconscious? The Hierophant confronts a manhole cover. And then here, 3 Degrees of Love says, funny, that Hierophant does remind me of an emperor. I mean, so you see how it could happen, right? And says dogmatic. Yeah, this one definitely does have that kind of feel to it, doesn't it? And D says, do not cross this man. So, how can we connect with the collective unconscious? Well, we have to get to that place, right? That light. So we need to not allow, I think in order to connect to the collective unconscious, right? We have to get past the barriers. We have to get past the structure and allow ourselves to see past that. So if there are things or rules that we've put in place for ourselves, perhaps, or that we feel like we've adopted from society, maybe that prevents us from being able to connect to that greater collective unconsciousness. Although, and I don't know a ton about this concept, I believe established by Carl Jung, there's do we even have control over that? Do we even can if it's unconscious, are we already connected to it? So perhaps that's just something that's happening regardless. It's just whether or not we're aware of it. So maybe we need to become more aware of our connection to the collective unconscious, which therefore makes it conscious. Oh, what have you got me? You've got my brain going down a whole kind of road right now, Melanie. I need to know what you guys think. All right. Palstarton says, use flame magic. Donna says, this reminds me of when part of a coronation ceremony is being blessed is blocked from public view. Oh, that's interesting. So only like certain people have access to that. Pamela says, move from shadow to light. Lori says, meditate. Again, bringing that answer in. Okama says, remember Indiana Jones where they tried to open the Ark of the Covenant and got burned by the light? Oh, vaguely. Let's see. Regina says, understand the institutions and dogma we are all restricted by and look for where the light breaks through to work past this. Think about how the light in this card comes in sideways. Ooh, I like that, Regina. Yeah, accessing the Akashic records is an option, right? I'm just starting to learn about those. Chris says, maybe the connection happens in an unusual place. This guy turns away from the big light in the sky and turns instead towards a portal in the earth. Dee says, take down our own canopy, right? Allow ourselves to be open to that, to be vulnerable, again, kind of comes to mind. Laurie says, it's happening right now, but we're not aware, but we will. Interesting. That sounded very ominous, Laurie. Donna says, I think just the new monarch and the priest. Am I missing the context of that one there? White Tree Tarot says, in case of this particular card, we have to ignore those posh self-proclaimed know-it-alls who are blocking the light. If you see the light, you will find the way to it yourself. Jonathan says, maybe you need to find a teacher to pass down traditions, a teacher, mentor, and advisor, someone who can guide you and show you the way. Yeah, perhaps those who know more about the collective unconscious than I do. I am not your Hierophant. Let's see. Yes, Chris, connecting to the unconscious can take one down a rabbit hole. Oh, I imagine. Emily says, still here, catching up. TK says, I don't know what. That didn't even sound like hello. 3 degrees of love. By connecting with our higher selves through introspection and meditation, living from a mindful and open perspective. Ooh. And Laurie said, not ominous, but hopeful. Okay, that's good. Thanks for fixing my tone on that one. Let's see. There we go. Yep, all the highs for TK. All right, we have one final deck and question to get to before we talk a little bit about shadowy reversals. We've talked about it a little bit, though, and then we'll see if the activity for this week is any good. All right, my last deck is one that I was kind of excited to draw for Playdate because I feel like I haven't looked at this deck in a while, and that is the Fun Steampunk Tarot. Okay. Hierophant, not the Emperor. Hierophant, not the Emperor. Hierophant, not the Emperor. All right, got it, folks. Got it. All right. Here I love this Hierophant. This is so good. Okay, this is the backs of these decks. Let's see. TCAT had said, look past the dogma and rules and see everyone being one, answering the last question. And Chris had said, maybe we need to look after our conscious world, our planet, and stop destroying it before we can even think about connecting to the unconscious one. Good advice. All right, so here is our steampunk Hierophant. Look at that friendly guy. The stack of books, some young people there. We have our crossed keys. So I know we got a little bit of glare there, but here we definitely get that teacher-student vibe in this particular version of the card. It's one I always love. I really love too, and I kind of wish this one had been in my decks, but the Everyday Witch Hierophant, where we have sort of like a yoga teacher, right? I love that too. I love the concept of student and teacher over sort of the religious leader and followers. That's just something that's more comfortable for me personally. Donna says a literal teacher. Yes. 3 degrees of love. If the Emperor comes out again, then you know, especially as I was literally saying to myself, like, pull the Hierophant out, not the Emperor. Emily says, I like this one more than some of the others. I get good vibes from the teacher, right? I feel comfortable and safe in this space, which is different. Like I don't feel rigid, I don't feel structured or like I might do or say the wrong thing here. I just think I have an opportunity to learn and I'm less self-conscious about how I'm existing in a space like this. The Green Witch yoga teacher. Oh yeah, the Everyday Witch. Did I say Green Witch? I'm not sure. Oklahoma says he looks like a storyteller. I don't know who John Huston is for anyone into old movie stuff, but maybe some others will get that reference. Let's see here. We have some back and forth chatter here. Oh, Jonathan had said he looks like a teacher here and less religious. I love that one. Exactly. Paul said, a wise old man. Yes, yes, yes. Should we just get straight to the question? We're getting up kind of late, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up CCAT's question here, which is how can we empower ourselves to make, and I put in brackets, good decisions? So here, oh, okay. I'm like, I can't trust myself to say any of the right words during Tarot Play Date. So how can we empower ourselves to make decisions or to make good decisions? So here I think taking the time to learn, right? To educate ourselves, to make sure we understand why we're making the decisions that we are, learning from those who have come before us, right? Either the good or the bad. So if you can learn from the successes of others as well as the failures of others, perhaps we can avoid making similar mistakes. But also maybe this allows us to get more context and understanding that's beyond maybe what is in our personal realm of experience, that allows us to make better decisions that are better for the greater good, even beyond just what might be good for ourselves. So those are some thoughts that I had. What do you guys think? We're talking about who it looks like, John Huston. Pamela said, never worry about asking for advice and direction. Yes. And also, too, we often are empowered when, unhide, there we go. When we allow ourselves to teach others too. Sometimes I find that the best way for me to learn is for me to teach or explain to somebody else. So that can oftentimes reinforce the things that I know or the things that I believe or the things that I feel are valuable, further establish my own morals and ethics if I have to describe them to others and teach them to others in a way that at least is talking from my own experience. Right? So maybe that's how I can become more confident in the decisions that I make, by sharing them with others. There's a thought. Let's see here. Chris said, find a good teacher. The quote I mentioned at the start answers this nicely. Did I capture that quote? Did I put it in here, Chris? Oh, I saw that one. Find a reference, Paul says. Gypsy in the forest by listening and learning to the wise people in our lives. Yes. Oak Mama says, listen to the histories of what went before, so we have the big picture. Yes. Neem says, remember the moral of all of those stories. Aesop's fables. That's Aesop, the librarian, the storyteller. Ah, yes. Raman says, pause to consider the keys to the future. Those kids, it's a we are the world moment, right? So think about what we're imparting on our children who are going to be the ones to carry things forward. I love that. Emily says, an amazing teacher makes something you don't usually get feel really fun, I think. Very true. Gianna Gracia says, get a teacher or mentor who will help you along finding your own path. Also become a mentor for others. Elle says, we teach best what we most need to learn. Ooh, I love that quote. Where's that from? Donna says, those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it, right? Jonathan says, before you make a decision, stop for a moment to listen and learn. You may need to seek the assistance from someone you trust as a mentor and advisor. And then let's see, Emily says, read and learn other areas and opinions other than just your own so you don't end up in an echo chamber. Yeah, living from love, says 3 Degrees of Love. Sabrina, teaching for generations to come. That old tree speaks about roots and branches to me. Yeah, really laying those foundations and planting those roots. I like that. One day with a great teacher, it is better than 1,000 days individual study. It's a Japanese proverb. Very cool. Ooh, you guys are good. And then Pal says, whittle down the choice down to 2, right? So we have 2 figures here, right? The 2 crust keys. At least get yourself down to where you can make a decision. Yeah, good practical advice there. All right, my friends. When you see this card in a reversed position, if you don't read reversals, if it's in a particular spot in your spread where it's perhaps a blocking energy, an energy or obstacle to overcome, etc., how might you look at this? And I think like I said, I think earlier, oh my gosh, TK is so loud right now. We kind of talked about this a bit earlier, where we have to kind of be careful not to fall into structure in a way that doesn't allow us to feel like we can challenge things and learn and grow, right? It's if we get into that stuck place of, well, that's the way it's always been done. So I think we have to be cautious of that when this card is in shadow. Let's see here. Emily had said earlier, read and learn other areas and opinions other than just your own so you don't end up in an echo chamber. So that was kind of in response to the earlier question. I like that. Emily says, in reverse, this can represent corrupt systems and people in positions of power, right? So perhaps we're getting, rather than being a teacher, we're getting a little caught up in our own ego and our own hype, if you will, right? Oh, this pedestal is kind of nice. Maybe I'll hang out here as long as I can, and not recognizing that we've kind of lost the point. And see, Donna says, just realize the monks are not tonsured in the, yeah, is that the haircut thing? Is that what you meant by that? I don't know if that's what that word means. Oak Mama says, reverse can represent restriction, challenging the status quo. Chris says, anytime we do something just because someone said so and didn't question it for ourselves, that's the Hierophant reversed for me. Yeah, same. Jonathan, the Hierophant reversed embodies ignorance at its highest potential. As wise as he may be, if he elects to ignore new information, the knowledge will become obsolete one day. Yes. Donna says yes. Oh, in answer to my question. Okay. Yeah, that was one thing I had kind of noticed too. When we showed this kind of version of the card. Any other thoughts on the reversal there? Well, you guys, I just realized I didn't pull up my little Google sheet with my activities, so I'll get that here while you guys are thinking about reversals. Get that up and ready to go. I am losing my voice today. I'm out of practice. 1 week off, everything goes. I can't tell the difference between the Emperor and the Hierophant. I have no voice, right? Let's see. Any other thoughts here? Anne said, reversed, maybe we have strayed too far from our true path. Ooh, yes. Or TCAP, may mean fear of being judged. Ooh, I like that too. Donna says, somebody at the beginning said blind faith. I think that sums it up well. Yes. Jonathan, if people follow this leader with outdated knowledge, then they will be ignorant as well. Such can lead to fundamentalist groups like hate groups, terrorists, or any other form of extremists, right? We need to understand why we believe what we believe, why we have faith in what we have faith in. Just blindly following isn't going to get us to the right place, I don't feel like. Chris says, this dusty old book vaguely says it's wrong for one guy to be with another, so I'm just going to be an ass to LGBTQ people. There's your Hierophant reversed right there. Yeah. We got to question the status quo. We have to be really willing to evolve beyond archaic and outdated ideas and concepts. Regina says extreme arrogance, refusal to take other perspectives into account, dogmatic thinking, unwillingness to change, assuming one has all of the answers, hubris. Yes. Whew. Unwelcome proselytizing. Proselytize. What does that word mean? I feel like I have a really good vocabulary, and yet you guys still manage to bring bring new words to me every week. Anne says, think context of the question is all important in looking for answers to this card. Definitely. And then Jonathan also says, I'm sorry, like my nose is getting stuffed up. An ill-dignified Hierophant also shows that you are following too close to someone else's will or ideals rather than your own. You run the risk of losing yourself to the collective group. So, on that note, let's give you an activity that I will post in the description box below this video, and I will also put it in the Tarot Playdate Facebook group. I've also lately been remembering to put it on Instagram when I post a picture of the cards, so I'll try to remember to do that as well. This is a quick one. Is structure good for you? Question mark. Find a predefined spread that you like. So a tarot spread, oracle spread, whatever you want to use, but tarot is kind of the name of the game here. Use that same spread as many times as possible throughout the week. At the end of the week, look back and determine if you liked the structure or if you felt the need to rebel from it. So just a little box. Let's see how well you like living in that little box. You can give it a try. If you do, let us know the results either next week in Tarot Playdate, post about it in the Tarot Playdate Facebook group, share with it as you will. All right, my friends, that has been the return of Tarot Playdate, card number 70. 8 more to go. Oh, Neem gave me a definition for this. The action of attempting to convert someone from one religion, belief, or opinion to another. Thank you. Thank you, Neem. I now have that word in my repertoire. And Regina had said an example is when evangelical sects knock on your door uninvited and try to convince you to join their religion. Oh, we've all had that experience, haven't we? All right, my friends, I hope you have a great week. I will be very interested to know how your Hierophant week goes. And thanks so much for being here and for contributing and for making Tarot Playdate what it is. And until I see you next week, next week. Then we have a week off for Tarot-thon. All right, my friends, I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Mwah. Bye.